What's up, horror fans? It's your main man Mew Twins here, back with another video. As the Halloween season approaches, I want to share with you my top 10 favorite movies to get me pumped up for the holiday. My list of movies consists of a combination of horror classics as well as funny, kind of not as serious horror movies. But together, this combination gets me pumped up every year for the Halloween season. This list of movies I'm providing is in no particular order, and it does not consist of a ranking system. It's just a combination of movies that are, in my opinion, the best to watch going into the Halloween season. With that being said, let's check it out. First up on my list is Freddy vs. Jason. Coming out in 2003, this movie had a little bit of an advantage as far as production, cinematography, special effects, if you will, compared to Freddy and Jason in their previous films back in the day. I like this movie a lot just because they're two horror titans brought together in a final showdown. It's great. It's a cool concept. The acting, it's nothing to write home about, but it's good enough for me to actually sit down and watch the film. But I love the whole build-up throughout the movie. And what I mean by that is I like how it kind of takes place where these origin movies ended. Teen horror, these kids, they're young, but they're getting involved between Freddy and Jason coming together to fight. And with that, there's a bunch of cool kill scenes, and the production's pretty cool, especially towards the final showdown. Especially if you weren't around to see those movies back in the day. This is a great movie just to kind of sum it all up and kind of give you a little bit of insight on each character in a small dose. At number 2, I have The Crow, coming out in 1994. This movie alone, too, had some very awesome special effects embedded with this movie. And this is such a cool movie. It's a very cool story. It also takes place on Halloween as well. Devil's Night in the movie. But this has a really cool rock and roll feel to it. It's dark, it's got a great soundtrack, and it's a fantastic movie to watch. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites as well. This is actually a solid movie with a great story too, and an awesome ending. Number 3, The Blair Witch Project. My last video that I just did was on The Blair Witch Project. I did a nice little review on the movie and my thoughts on it as well. It's no surprise, I love this movie. It is a great found footage film, one that I believe paved the way for more found footage films to come, and it's solid. It's a very simple concept, a very simple cast and movie, but it works really well, and it's very creepy, especially for the first time, and how it came out in 1999 as far as the way it was marketed. It made for a nice, creepy, mysterious found footage horror film. Next up on our list, at number 4, is Jeepers Creepers. The first film coming out in 2001, this is a great film in the horror universe. And to me, I believe it's underrated a little bit. It is awesome because this movie has a very original character, the Creeper. And he's got some very cool abilities that make him very unique and almost stand out between some of the other horror titans that we know today. Throughout the whole movie, the suspense of the character is fantastic. You don't see him all that often until the end, where they start to show him a little bit more and show off his abilities. It's very wow factor, like you wouldn't expect it. Yeah, this movie has an incredible ending, and the acting is fairly well done too. Being almost no-name actors besides maybe one or two, this movie is very good, and it stands out, and it's a great film to watch every year too because it's perfect for this time of the year. Next up on the list at number 5, All Hallows Eve. This movie is not the best movie you'll ever watch, but it is a very cool movie. It is almost semi-found footage. There's a VHS tape involved, and on this tape, there are several different stories involved. And behind most of them, the mastermind, Art the Clown, as you can see right here, this scary-looking creature. However, this character alone, that's why this movie is on this list, is because of this character. He is a very creepy character. He's almost like a mime, or a clown, if you will, or even a combination of the two. This movie is great. Not because of the acting, but of Art the Clown, and I think it's a movie that everyone should give a shot at least once because it goes perfectly within the Halloween setting and the horror film genre. You made it, guys. Halfway through the video. We got 5 more videos that I have to talk about. Hope you guys can stick to the end. If you guys are still here and still enjoying this video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more horror videos in the future. Next up at number 6 is Murder Party. This is a fantastic horror film that really doesn't take itself too seriously, especially if you've seen it before. This movie has some crazy death scenes, very gory, and it's very dialogue heavy at times too, but the environment that the movie is shot in, the way it's filmed, very Halloween-esque, if you will, and I enjoy every minute of this film. I'd at least give it one shot. It's very funny and a very enjoyable horror flick to watch. At number 7, 1993's Hocus Pocus. Like I said, this list doesn't take itself too seriously. These are all movies to kind of get you excited for the Halloween season. Some ways creep you out, but also some ways just kind of get you in the mood. This is a fantastic, fun movie, and very unique too. Well done in the aspect of it is a Disney film, so the production's really good, the cinematography, the acting's very well done, especially by the witches. They're each very unique, and it's just a cool story too. And it's one that I looked forward to every year going into the Halloween season, whether it was on Disney or just on regular TV. It's a fantastic movie, and sticks within the memories too. At number 8, we have Saw. Made in 2004, one of the first movies that I've ever seen by the famous horror director James Wan. This movie is fantastic because, first of all, when it came out, everyone was talking about it. It had a very iconic character, Jigsaw, and just the movie concept alone was very unique and very new to the audience of horror movies, and it became iconic. And this movie is great. There is a bunch of them down the road. This one I think is one of the best, just because it's got its own feel to it. Very small cast, but the environment it's shot in, the room that they're trapped in, as well as just the whole dark kind of feel to it. Very awesome movie. Very kind of psychological too, with knowing how they got there and the kind of puzzles they have to kind of go through to escape. Very unique, and it's a fantastic movie. I love this movie. One of my favorite horror movies in this modern generation that I've seen so far. At number 9, we got 1973, The Exorcist. I'm going to say that one more time. 1973, The Exorcist. This movie was way ahead of its time for being a horror movie back in the day. When you watch it, it almost seems like a regular movie. The acting is so well done. It really is. But also, being such an old movie and watching it today, the concepts that they use in this movie relating to religious beliefs and such, but also the ways they shot scary scenes, I can't even imagine how scary this movie was back in the day, because it's still creepy today. Having watched it a bunch of times, this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. As most of you probably know, it's probably one of the most classic of all time too. And it is solid how it starts off in the Middle East and it's brought back to the States. With that being said, something is awakened, a demon if you will, and takes a hold, possesses Reagan, the little girl. And from there on out, it is crazy the transformation that she goes through. And being such a sweet little girl, Reagan, in the movie, it's almost more heartbreaking than the fact that she is being taken over by this demon. It's very psychological too. The whole investigation side of it, when they're trying to figure out what's happening, what's going on, to eventually bring in a couple of priests to save the day at the end. It's a fantastic movie, one of the best in my opinion. Last but not least, at number 10, 1978, Halloween. The first movie of the Halloween series, and there was a bunch of them. This is no doubt the best movie. It clearly states how Michael Myers became what he was, how he started off, within the opening scene as well, and just how down the road, how he becomes what he is, the monster that he is. And this movie is fantastic. It takes place not only on Halloween, but also gives you that boogeyman aspect to the movie that makes you creepy, especially if you're watching this as a young kid. And it's a fantastic movie. I know myself when I watched it for the first time a long time ago. Not 1978, long time ago, but a long time ago. It scared me too. And it took me years after that to actually really mature and watch this movie without being scared and just, knowing what it's about. Jamie Lee Curtis is the queen of horror, if you will. I mean, she is fantastic in this movie. It was her debut film, I believe, as Laurie Strode. I am so excited for Halloween Kills at the end of this year in October. And this movie, let alone, can get you motivated and pumped up for the next installment, which is Halloween Kills. I love this movie, Halloween, and it is a great go-to movie for the Halloween season every year. That is it, horror fans. I hope you like this list. If you like any of these movies that I provided on this list, let me know in the comments. Let's start a great discussion about these horror films going into the Halloween season. Also, if there was a movie that I did not include on this list, let me know. There's only 10 spots. We can only fit so many in this video, but there's room for more, always. With that being said, guys, you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.